God created light, and as quickly as God allowed man to walk in his light, Satan, the prince of darkness, rallied his powers of evil against that light. Disguised as a serpent, he came to Eve and deceived her into violating God's only command, and sin entered into the life of man. Satan's counterplan had begun. He wanted to kill the light.
Wanted to kill the light.
To fulfill his plan to bring salvation light into the world, God ordained leaders and filled them with his light. They were chosen to prepare the way. But from the beginning, the forces of darkness tried to stop them. Joseph was sold into slavery by his own brothers. Moses was pursued into the desert under a death warrant. Joshua's enemies joined forces against him in battle to extinguish God's people. David faced a giant and a terrible personal defeat. But God sustained him and promised to maintain a lamp to David's descendants forever. All of them were attacked by Satan's forces, but God made them rulers and kings and brought victory to himself. Their light could not be put out.
They wanted to kill the light.
As the prophets had foretold, the Son of God finally came as the light of the world. And Jesus' words stirred the people. Whoever lives by the truth, he said, will come to the light. But whoever does evil will not come to the light. Jesus' light shined in the darkness, but the darkness did not understand it. And though the world was made through him, the world did not receive him. When Satan could not convince Jesus to bow down to him, he used the Jewish religious leaders, Jesus' own people, to carry out his destructive purpose, to kill the light.
They wanted to kill the light.
The once curious crowd that followed Jesus soon became a jeering mob, and he was sentenced to death by the people. He was strapped to wooden beams. His hands and feet were nailed, and then he was raised up in front of them all to die. The minutes seemed like hours as he hung there. Then the darkness began to loom around him, and he cried out to his Father to forgive them. And with that he was gone. The sky turned black as night, as if all the light in the world had been put out. All the powers of darkness stood and watched the sight, and the prince's howling laugh could be heard echoing through the canyons of the earth.
But his triumph was short-lived. 3 days later, Jesus' friends came to his grave and found it empty. Then suddenly an angel appeared and told them the news that will change the course of the world. He is alive, he has risen. Jesus Christ lives, and darkness lost the fight. God's light will shine forever. There is no way to kill the light.
Darkness now is conquered.